I was a little angry.
Very sad.
Stunned.
Disappointed.
Disbelief. I was not very happy with CBS at all. He should be able to say what he says and not have backlash from the president.
It's the new owners of CBS Paramount sucking Trump's is what it is.
I do think it was politically motivated.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered here today at the Woke Cemetery on this appropriately rainy Friday to mourn the loss of one of America's greatest failures. I know this is a very emotional time. I have not been this distraught since the Wicked Weave Joy Reid rode her broom for the final time on MSNBC before she was fired. Our friend, or as Jim Kimmel prefers to call him, my bestie. One of the voices of our generation, someone who was dedicated to preaching the good word, spreading the woke faith, someone who was unafraid to publicly show his dedication to Wiener. Last night, Stephen Colbert officially said goodbye to late night television, a once profitable industry that his abundance of failure has destroyed. We are gathered here today at the Woke Cemetery to lay Stevie's career next to his brothers and sisters at Woke United Methodist, whose careers we have already lost. The Donut Diva, Brian Stelter, the Wicked Weave, Joy Reid, Don Lemon. Let's just bow our heads for a moment. Let's observe a moment of silence as we mourn the loss of Stevie's career. Oh, the trio of huge embarrassing failures in late night television has now been reduced to a doofus duo. By this time next year, once Jim Kimmel's contract expires with ABC and he joins his bestie Stevie in the unemployment line to collect woke welfare, the lone survivor in late night TV is gonna be Jim Fallon. Before we get into Stevie's final episode from last night, which was somehow even more boring than usual, let me go ahead and dispute this false narrative that Don Trump is the reason Stephen Colbert was fired. I know for those who prefer wearing their woke hats, I know it can be hard to understand simple economics while your mind is being infected with the woke fungus. But there is a very simple explanation as to why Stephen Colbert was fired. CBS was losing between $40 and $50 million every year to keep this late night turd from being flushed. Last summer, CBS finally decided to clean their pooper. CBS finally decided to flush this turd. Uncle Casey, CBS is losing millions of subscribers right now on Paramount Plus. Lonely men are mad, mad, mad because their hero Stevie was canceled by the FCC. Paramount Plus has 79 million subscribers. Last quarter, they lost 100,000, which represents way less than 1%. My guess is most of those lost subscribers were paying for the NFL. I doubt you will find one person, even a wanker spanker, that canceled Paramount Plus because Stephen Colbert was fired. Ironically enough, in his final appearance on CBS last night, Stephen Colbert showed America exactly why he was fired. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Let's go and get to the sponsor for today's video, my good friends at American Attitude. Here in a couple of months, America will be celebrating its 250th birthday. 250 years of freedom, 250 years of being the greatest country on earth. But due to a certain political party that is anti-American, I'm sure July 4th is going to be intentionally divisive. But you can show your love and support for our country and our great military with patriotic gear from American Attitude. American Attitude is more than just a clothing brand. It is a movement for people who love faith, freedom, and a good punchline. They got plenty of hats and t-shirts that celebrate 250 years of American freedom, but my personal favorite, it's got to be the infidel t-shirts and hoodies where you're displaying your pride at being labeled as an infidel. They've also got patriotic hoodies and tumblers to keep the beverage of your choice iced down during the summer. American Attitude strives to bring patriotic Americans together through humor and unapologetic American grit. So click the link in the description or the pinned comment below. Use my promo code BTL10, BTL10. Receive 10% off your first purchase with American Attitude. Headline at Variety: Stephen Colbert's series finale was a letdown. The series finale wasn't the only letdown. This dump has been a massive disappointment for the better part of the last 10 years. This should have been so easy for Stephen Colbert. For decades, millions of people had been conditioned to watch late night television while they're going to bed. When Stevie took over from David Letterman back in 2015, all he had to do was maintain the audience. Davey literally handed Stevie 3-4 million nightly viewers, and for a little while, Stevie was able to maintain it. But 7, maybe 8 years ago, doctors at Woke Memorial Hospital, they diagnosed Stephen Colbert with a severe, incurable case of stage 4 OMB. Ultraman bad! Initially, the symptoms were mild. But over time, Stephen Colbert developed an unhealthy obsession with Donald Trump. As the obsession became stronger, his ratings became weaker. More importantly, the ad revenue his late night dump was generating damn near vanished. 2018, the trio of huge embarrassing failures in late night were generating almost $440 million a year in ad revenue. Now, if I remember correctly, I want to say Jay Leno used to generate over $300 million by himself. So revenue was already declining in 2018, but the networks were still making money. 6 years later, ad revenue declined by 50%. I don't think I need to explain why that dog won't hunt. Revenue declined while production costs went up, salaries went up for the host, who were responsible for destroying this once profitable industry to begin with. The networks were struggling so bad to monetize this turd. Stephen Colbert, he could work for free and CBS would still lose $25-35 million. I put together a little compilation of Stevie's final episode from last night. But before I share those clips, I also found a couple of clips from 2015. I know it's hard to believe, but Donald Trump was not always hated by the mainstream media. Matter of fact, he used to be loved. Hell, the Yentas on The View, they used to worship the Trumper. They were mesmerized by his toxic masculinity, which is a common symptom in women married to feminine dudes, or in the case of Ann Navarro, who is married to the Pepperidge Farm guy. The media used to love the Trumper because they knew Don drew ratings. As you're about to see, Stephen Colbert was damn near worshiping Don Trump in 2015. Now, compare the Stephen in those clips to the Stevie that we saw last night, which is the same Stevie that we have seen for the last 7 or 8 years. Watch for yourself.
I'd like to apologize. The show has been on for almost 30 seconds, and I've yet to say the words Donald Trump.
Don't leave me, Donald. Don't you understand? If you go away, I'm going to have to talk about those other boring people. I'm going to have to learn their names.
No matter where we go, it seems that the response, it just gets better and better.
I'm not surprised at all. I'll tell you why. Is because...
I'm liking him a lot.
No, I'm not. I'm liking you too. I'm liking you too.
The Trump golden cell phone has finally arrived after a 9-month delay. Now, the only Trump item more disappointing after a 9-month wait was Eric. You know, You know, I've said a lot of mean things about Eric over the years. As for the phone, let's be clear, this thing sucks. On night one of the Colbert Report, back in the day, I said, anyone can read the news to you. I promise to feel the news at you. And I realized pretty soon in this job that our job over here was different. We were here to feel the news with you. And I don't know about you, but I sure have felt it.
That last clip perfectly describes why Stephen Colbert was fired. 10 years on the job, and he doesn't understand his job description. As a late-night host, it is not your job to feel the news. It is not your job to deliver the news. It's your job to make light of it. It's your job to make it entertaining. It's similar to what I do here on YouTube. I am not a political pundit. I'm damn sure not a journalist. I take stories and I make them entertaining. 3 times a day, I take your mind off whatever the hell you've got going on in your personal life. Stephen Colbert was so blinded by OMB, he was so blinded by his fake rage towards the Trumper, he forgot that his job was to entertain. His job was not to indoctrinate. I know Stevie is putting on a brave face for the cameras. He is pretending like being fired doesn't bother him, but it does. His career as he knows it is over. Uncle Casey, that's not true. Stevie can be independent now. He can launch a show on YouTube and not be constrained by corporate media. Yeah, like it's so easy. First of all, it's not the same. Going from network television to YouTube, that is a major demotion. And most in the mainstream media who try to make the transition, they seem to disappear. Think about it. When is the last time you heard anything about the Wicked Weave Joy Reid? When is the last time you heard anything about Don Lemon? Hell, Don Lemon was arrested earlier this year, and I'd be willing to bet that most of you have already forgotten about it. You see, what happens with these media people once they attempt to make the transition to YouTube, they think YouTube is the same as TV. They think YouTube is the same as cable news. They think it's all about ratings. They think it's all about telling the audience what they want to hear. But YouTube is all about authenticity. And when you've been lying for decades, when you've spent your entire career reading someone else's words off a teleprompter, Uncle KC reads his own words. The words I have on my script were written by me. They have been reading someone else's. And when you've been doing that for decades, it's hard to be yourself. It's hard to rewire yourself to be authentic. The YouTube audience is smart. They can instantly sense a lack of authenticity. And unlike TV, where there is no comment section, there is no like and dislike button, the reaction is immediate. If you don't believe me, just look at what's happened recently to Megyn Kelly. If you're not on Twitter, you probably don't even realize that Megyn Kelly is still in the business. Hell, you forget about her on YouTube too because her numbers have drastically declined, even though she uploads 17 to 20 videos every day. Why? Because Megyn Kelly made the mistake of lacking authenticity. Megyn Kelly made the mistake of chasing ratings, chasing clicks, instead of being herself. At Fox News, Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson, they had a filter. Fox knows what their audience wants to hear. On YouTube, there is no filter. And if you're inauthentic, it doesn't take very long for you to be exposed. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys later.